So I was looking at the overhead view of Baerlon again from MCA Selector, and I was planning out where like the city blocks would go, or at least which sets of buildings would follow the same lines. And I realized that I have nothing for this empty space right here. And I realized that I couldn't really put a four-sided building here since it's just a really weird shape and nothing would look right. And then I realized that, hey, I could build a fountain there. And then I really got attached to the idea of a fountain. But my villagers are there right now. So I have to find a spot to put the villagers, which is going to be the inn. And so I finished most of the exterior of the inn. I definitely will still be adding windows. It's just that it's hard for me to focus on building those while I'm building everything else. And so we'll probably just go with the normal oak trapdoors that appear on the side of it. And so in here, not much has changed in the interior on the first floor. On the second floor, we now have a spot to put two villagers, who will be one farmer and one, I don't know, probably no trade. But then we'll have plenty of farmland here to grow carrots or potatoes. And then some waterlogged leaf blocks so that the farmland is, uh, what do you call it? When the farmland is, like, has the, I've been thinking for a while, and I can't think of the actual name that people usually call it, but when the farmland has moisture. And so then the crops will grow, and the farmer and the other villager will distribute the food between themselves until they have enough that, well, eventually we'll have some beds out here with a spot for the baby villagers to fall through, and then, yeah, we'll sort them out through there. On the other side, we might just have a couple more farmer villagers that are just harvesting carrots, potatoes, and beetroots, and then we'll just collect those. But I'm planning on putting all the other villagers just in these rooms for now, probably just in boats, while I figure out where they'll go throughout the city. So right now I think I'm ready to start pulling all of these guys into the inn. So that will be fun. So now we have our two villagers up here with the farmland that is moisturizing. And down here we have three more. There were a couple close calls, or it's just scary moments when I was really worried that they would suffocate in a wall, like here. Yeah, I had to remove the doors because they kept on closing them, because technically these are... Okay, technically these are open, so they kept quote-unquote opening them, but making it so that the boat couldn't go through, and yeah, that was annoying. But we can finally take down the ugly dirt thing, and then put our fountain below this. I set up a villager breeder that's kind of the same design that I used in Emmonsfield, kind of based on the same design by Logical Geek Boy. So outside, we'll be building that fountain now that the ugly dirt thing is out of the way. I'm not completely sure what design I want to make it, or how big. So, is this a good size, or is it too small? It's definitely not centered. Now, is that too big? Is there plenty of space for a horse to get through on either side? I think so. Just a little annoying about this one block change in elevation. That makes the fountain look too tall on this side. Wonder what's the best way to even it out, considering is that a 2 or 3 block gap? Yeah, 2 block difference in heights between this building and the inn. So I've kind of dropped this whole section one block so that the fountain is all on a single level. And then I think this is a good spot for it. It's kind of balanced in between these two buildings, but there's going to be more space on this side just because this will be the main road that's passing through. My plan for this was just to have stone bricks all along here, and then probably just having something in the middle that I use the water for the villager breeder. So I'll have to go grab that from the river. One reason why having a fountain here will be good is that it is a close, infinite water source to everything that I'm building over here, just because you need water at so many random times that it becomes very inconvenient not to have a water source close by. Alright, I think that looks good. I'm wondering if I should do mud bricks for the roads in most of the cities, since with slab variants it's going to be easier to go up and down uh, elevation changes in the road like this. Now that I'm looking a little more at the inn, I'm kind of realizing that up close it looks a little weird. I just have an issue with the sides of these gables, so like where the roof meets the walls. And yeah, from below it seems like it's poking out at weird angles, and that's just because of how the slanted building works, and I don't really know how to fix that. So only on the front side did I do the upside down stairs to try to make it a smoother shape. So on the sides and the back I haven't done that yet. I'm not sure what to go with. One thing that I have noticed is that up close it looks a little weird, but the farther away you are, I think the better it looks. Since the subtle shading, the subtle gradient I have with the slightly darker ones, slightly darker blocks like the warped blocks and the wool more on the bottom, and the light concrete powder featured more heavily on top. I think it looks really good, and all of the crookedness kind of goes away. And that's, I don't know, that's kind of one thing that I want to do, is to have just the cities that I build look like, I don't know, like a single structure. Like having the cities so that when you look at them from far away, they just look real, I guess. And so I'll definitely have to be adding windows to this, because the front of it looks very bare. But I don't really feel like doing that right now. With plans to build such a large world, with cities dotted all over the map, a lot of time will be spent traveling. And so I'm trying to think of ways to make getting from point A to point B a little more interesting. So right now we pretty much just have roads, but there will be methods of fast travel as we get later on in the world and have access to more technology. But right now I had the plan for making a ferry across a river instead of just a normal bridge. And so we'll have a slime block flying machine that'll take us across a river. But I wanted to have a large enough river that would make sense for someone to have a ferry and not just a bridge. And so we're starting the kind of first major terraforming in this world, where I want to make this river. Whoa, the fence just disappeared. Interesting. Anyways, I want to make a wide and deep river right here, just so that it would make much less sense to build a bridge, and so they would just have a ferry, even if the travel over this bridge would be quite a lot. So, as I was digging this, I realized that this is the only diamond shovel I have, and so I probably want a way to get more. And so one of the first villagers that we'll be getting into our city will probably be a toolsmith, just so that's easy for me to get enchanted diamond tools. And yeah, thinking about what I want to put here is making me realize how much more infrastructure I want to put in Baerlon. I was not thinking about putting a slime farm here at first, but now I think I definitely will have to, with having a slime block powered boat over there, as well as sometime in the near future, getting a slime block flying machine farm for the bamboo up and working here as well, just because this design is pretty slow right now. And so getting an easy way to get slime, and then also wanting to get more villagers in. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be sending quite a few more episodes in Baerlon than I was originally planning on, which is perfectly fine. But right now I really want to get that toolsmith in order so that we can start not having to worry about conserving our tools or what we'll do if we ever run out. Our villagers haven't quite gotten a whole lot of farmland in here yet, so I'll probably have to help them spread some of these potatoes around. But yeah, so right now we're going to focus on building up the infrastructure in this city and hopefully advance on our other projects. So I went caving in a high altitude cave to get plenty of coal to trade with this guy in order to level him up, and we did make the 2/3 chance of having him have a shovel enchant. It would be nice to have unbreaking and efficiency on it, but efficiency 3 is fine for now since it's going to be fairly easy to get more of these from him. We can let him go now. It was annoying because he chose the barrel that was right here for his workstation, so I had to move it and all of its stuff. That's the one annoying thing about using barrels for decoration, is that if villagers are nearby, they're just gonna gravitate towards those, and you have to break them in order for the villagers to actually change to the workstation that you want them to, and yeah, it's a fairly involved process. So next time I'll make sure to keep him locked in a room and then let him out to get to his workstation rather than letting him wander free throughout the inn and finding all of the barrels. I guess I never explained why I brought the donkeys over here. I had placed a chest down to put on all of the dirt and other stuff that I'll be collecting here, but I realized that I don't really want to have chests hanging everywhere in my world, because they are just a pain to clean up later. So I'm just gonna have the donkeys pick up the dirt now, and then later I'll bring it back to the city when I'm all done here, or mostly done, and can take the last 2 stacks by myself. There ended up being just a few too many blocks to actually store in the donkeys, and so I built a small hut for fishermen, I guess the ferryman, just for the guy who runs the ferry, for him to stay in during the day. But yeah, so quite a few resources from this, but I'll definitely be placing some dirt and sand down on here pretty soon, and then we'll get the water in so that it looks natural. It's going to be a little annoying to actually dig out the parts that are currently underwater, and so I'll just try to blend them in like that. Blend them in so that it doesn't look like just a steep drop off right here. But otherwise, I think I was probably originally planning on digging this a little deeper, but I don't really want to dig it any deeper than this. I guess I wasn't getting enough digging time while I've been over by the project at the river, and so I also began digging out a few platforms in a slime chunk. And so just 3 right now, starting at level 39 and then going down. Over time, I'll probably add more levels since it's fairly slow and it's not automatic. And so it definitely does take some time for me to get slime right now, but I guess I'm not using a whole lot anyways. Just having a small manual farm like this will probably be fine. And then there's also a 3rd level. The farm is definitely working fine so far since we have almost 2 stacks of slime balls at this point. I've started placing in the riverbed, but so far I've only done the sand and what little clay and gravel I've had so far. Now I think I'm good to just go through and put all the dirt down, and then start trying to get all this whole area flooded. I'm not sure if I should flood it and then take out the walls, or take out the walls then flood it. It might be better to flood it and then take down the walls, since we won't have to worry about water flowing while I'm trying to get more water here. Then again, I will have to try to dig through the water, and I don't have any aqua affinity or a conduit or anything like that. So it's probably going to be best to take down the walls first. To make this riverbed seem natural, I first went through and built a lot of circles of sand, and then threw in as much clay and gravel I had. But I'm just going through and filling in all of the not sand or gravel or clay with dirt covering it, so that it'll look mostly natural. Once we do get this flooded, I will be coming through with bone meal to make some seagrass so that it looks even. So everything possible looks like it actually generated like this. On this side, I took down the wall right away and then began putting while I kept that wall up. I can now say that it is definitely better to make sure to leave the wall there while you're flooding it. Otherwise, you're going to have so many floating non-water source blocks that you'll have to take care of by placing blocks underneath or something, because it's very difficult to make sure all of the lower levels are completely water sources. So, flood everything, and then use doors to mine underneath the water if you want to take out the wall and blend everything into the natural river. The last thing that will make this episode is going to be a ferry that goes across this river. And so first, we're gonna start by making a Tetris T shape right here. No, the Tetris T shape looks like that, going horizontally. And then observer and sticky piston. And on the other side, it's pretty much a mirror image. I'm gonna go like that. Nope, other way around. First observer, then sticky piston. And then we have fences. I need a few more of those. Hey, creeper. I don't want you around here. Then we'll do the same thing on the other side, but I'll make it kind of like a mirror image. So, that. For now, I'll be using furnaces to make sure that these two flying machines don't go anywhere. Alright, so that's how the actual flying machines are built. I wanted to, like, put them this way so that there's an easy way to enter as well as exit. But if I put these on the same side, then you'd only have fence gates on one side, and then the other side you'd have two openings, and it'll be harder to have a horse not go over it. In a creative testing world, I tried to have a horse just attached to a lead, and it kept on jumping over the fence while the ferry is moving. And so we'll probably just have to use this for riding a horse. I could add something that puts like a horse or donkey into a minecart and then somehow sticks it on the ferry. But we'll figure that out some other time. I just want to get this wired up and then test it out. Alright, I have everything all wired up so we can take a look to see how it works. You can just use the slabs to take your horse over the fence without needing to jump. And then I push the button, and then the ferry just crosses over to the other side. Once we get over here, the gap in the fences is perfect to just drive the horse through, and we're on our way back on the road. So the wiring for this is very easy. Each of the observers for the flying machines is going to be activated by these spruce trapdoors. And we just make sure that they activate at the same time from this button push. And so this redstone dust will activate this trapdoor. When we go down here, we'll be activating this block with the redstone dust, which is going to activate this trapdoor. So both of those trapdoors will be activating at the exact same time. And so we know that our flying machines will also leave at the exact same time. And then it's easy enough to just ride back over. One thing that I want to improve is going to be the path in the water that we kind of leave behind. So you can see like the flowing water on either side, front or back. In order to fix that, well, it'd be pretty easy for me to fix that right now. I would just move the furnaces over there and there. That might work. I'll have to double check that though. But we aren't done with this. I want to add a better wiring system so that we can press a button and if it's on the other side, it'll automatically come over to us, and vice versa. And maybe try to hide the redstone a little better, but we'll have to become a little more advanced in our world before we're able to do that. So I've been placing dirt for a while in this area, and I still have a couple more areas to touch up over here as well. But other than that, I have a whole lot of these caves in this area covered up and made much safer. Ever since Bella died in that cave over there one day, I've definitely been meaning to come over here and make it much safer. Thankfully, it didn't take too long, and so eventually we can come out and make that road that will lead over to Whitebridge and Camelin in that direction. One thing I want to try out is to make sure that a boat is able to go over the flowing water we have that's left behind the ferry. I know that flowing water and bubble columns both tend to make boats sink a little bit and can make them sink. I would like to keep boating as an option in this area. But I think the water doesn't fall in far enough for the boat to actually sink. Well, that's good. What in the world is that? How long has that been there? Who put that there? And I think I'm gonna take a closer look, but I hope there aren't any traps. What is that thing? Uh, hmm. I'm not seeing a door. How would someone get in there? I have no idea what that is, and so I'm just gonna leave it be for now. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.